Oh, there it is.
There you go. Okay. All right. You want to do the opening speech, Everett, or should I?
Oh, you can go ahead.
All right. Well,
you know who the speaker is.
Yeah, I know who the speaker is for tonight. Well,
that's what we're worried about.
We're not going to take them. We're not going to see. Here we go. We're not going to worry about long introductions tonight. We'd like to thank you all for all of you who have chimed in to the CCC's Night of Grown Folks Talk. Tonight we do have a inspiring speaker, and it is my understanding that they've done their due diligence to bring the subject title tonight. So therefore, I'm going to shut up, introduce them, and then I'm going to do an Everett number and mute myself. So therefore, without further ado, I present to some and introduce to others. I know y'all heard that in church, didn't you? Exactly.
And you forgot the name, see?
No, I know the name, but I'm trying to figure out which one she want to go by. So we'll just say CCC's newest member, Jackie. The floor is yours, dear.
Thank you so much.
You're right.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Good, Jackie.
That's good. Well, I went back and forth for a while over something to talk about. And given the way things have been going for me, the past few weeks and things I've heard from other people, I thought about the subject, mental health matters, strategies for self-care and well-being. Now I know, we've heard that, all of our lives, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. But what exactly does that mean? Is that the same all the time? Does it change as we age or become seasoned? Can we find better results with doing something we never thought about doing before? Or do we do the same old thing day in and day out? So my questions for you tonight are, what are your routines? How often do you do them? Do you always know when it's time to stop and take a mental break? What pushes you over the edge? And do you have people or a person that helps you keep it in the road, so to speak? That's one of those old terms there. Y'all don't know nothing about that. But anyway, we're just looking at a couple of definitions. One would be the definition of stress. Everybody has their own definition. Certain things may, push you to be more stressed. Certain things may cause you to have less stress. But anyway, stress is the physical or mental response to an external cause, such as having a lot of work or something that you have to do or illness. That can cause stress. And then stressors can be short-term or long-term. Now, in response to that, the definition of anxiety, a lot of people kind of use those two interchangeably, but anxiety is your body's reaction of stress and reaction to stress and can occur even after the current threat is gone. So I want you to think long and hard about the things that you've done for yourself. A lot of times we get so bogged down in stuff. We're carrying 30, 40 pounds of stuff on our backs. We got our jobs. We got our children. We got our grandchildren. We got our church. We got our civic organizations. We got people that pull on us. And the people that pull on us, I call them spiritual or energy vampires, because that's exactly what they are. They are literally sucking the life out of you to sustain them. Ma'am? Huh?
I was saying the same thing you said.
Oh, exactly. And we've all had them. Some of us still have some that we need to cut loose. But anyway, that's another topic. um, so I'm looking at tips to improve our mental health, and I'll run through these right quick, and then we can talk about these before I go on to something else. Number one is something that a lot of people either don't have time for, or they convince themselves they don't have time, which is getting your body moving, exercise. It may be parking 2 parking spaces away from the door, 2 more parking spaces away. Just that little bit of doing something to get your blood moving and get your body moving will actually help release endorphins and cause you to feel better. Number 2 is surround yourself with healthy people. We all know toxic people. We have toxic people in our families, on our jobs. So you have to surround yourself with healthy people. Number 3, don't be afraid to put your needs first. And for a lot of people, that's a tall order. We are so used to being there for everybody else, answering to everybody else, fixing everything for everybody else, putting out fires for everybody else, solutions for everybody else. We put ourselves on the back burner. We can't keep doing that. Number 4, and I am just as guilty of this as probably 3/4 of America, get a good night's sleep. Certain person on the line constantly tells me I'm not sleeping right, and I agree. I'm trying to change that though. And number 5 is keep a journal. It doesn't have to be anything that you expect to share with other people. This is for you, something to put your innermost thoughts in, so you can see, possibly if there are trends in the way your life is going, if there's something you can cut out, something you can change. If you want to write a poem, write a poem. If you want to rant and rave about your boss, rant and rave about your boss. Just get it out. You can't keep all that stuff pent up inside. And number 6, ding, 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 cut out bad habits. Everybody knows what a bad habit is when it comes to them and their life. So I'm not going to expound on that one. And the last one is take up a new hobby. A new hobby may be, going feeding the ducks at the park, bird watching. Some people like to knit, but it's something to kind of help the stressors and the pain and anxiety of the day fall away, and that's what you need, especially when it comes to getting a good night's sleep, is just allowing your body to relax. So now, with those being said, what do you think about that? Is there something that may have been left off the list, something that you want more information about? What do you guys think?
When it comes to stress, I think one of the things, I can only talk about me, that used to be my issue all the time, was over worrying about things. Things that is, a lot of times it worries me more than it worries the person that is having a problem.
Right.
Because I'm the fix-it person. Even though, you may come on today and say, I am so stressed out, I don't know what to do. My head is already going in, how can I help her de-stress? How can I help her de-stress? Without even knowing the whole thing. And it causes me stress because I would lay awake at night, worrying about you and your stress level.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's me. But I have learned,
thank you.
I do that self-talk, and Adrian, she'll be all right without you.
Right. Just send up a prayer for me. That's good enough.
That's right. Just say a prayer. She'll be all right.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Anybody else? Don't everybody talk at one time now. Okay, all right. We'll move on then.
Well, hold on. I just had to give her my remote control to turn my TV down. I can agree with all of the points that you've made toward relieving stress, keeping down anxiety. But it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
As Adrian said, like, I'm a nurturer. So if you got a problem, I'm gonna try and fix it. And I'm the one that'll push myself to the side to take care of everybody else. It has come through years of counseling to understand that I can't do for others unless I take care of myself first.
Right.
And so in that, I have started to be more conscious of my self-care. So taking care of myself means time away from TV, radio, music, just peace, just quiet peace. Sometimes that's all I need. Sometimes it's communing with God in however way I see fit. I have meditated. That helps. Self-care to me is expressing how I feel to the person that hurt me or the person that hurt my feelings. Or because people don't figure that as self-care, but it is, because if I hold in to hurt my feelings, that's stress on me. So in having true friendship, to call on a person when you're so stressed and your anxiety level is so high that all you can say is pray for me. Because at that point in time, you don't even have the strength to pray for yourself. But having those type of people in your life, that's part of my self-care. Laughing and giggling with my best friend over nonsense is self-care. Is she giggling already? You see what I'm saying? But it's part of the self-care. You have to do whatever makes you feel comfortable to take care of yourself. Sometimes self-care is going to get my hair done, going to get my nails done, getting a pedicure. That's self-care. But we all have to take the time out, and I agree. I have a planner, and in the planner, one of the things per week is self-care, and you have to bubble in when you've done self-care Monday through Sunday. So that at the end of the week, you look at yourself and say, I didn't do anything to take care of myself this week. So if that is journaling, which I don't like to journal, but if it's journaling, if it's putting it in a calendar, hush.
Yeah, that's
if
a form of journaling.
Using a planner, whatever it takes to release that, it is best to do. But all of that is part of self-care, and that will relieve a lot of stress. It will definitely relieve a lot of stress.
Yes.
If I may.
Anybody else? Sure.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm driving. It's one of those habits. So I cannot honestly give you any examples on how I de-stress, because I really don't get it, receive it, and hold it. I must have a gallon of olive oil and coconut oil like all over my body from birth, because I don't let things bother me, and that is just my personality. But I would say that a couple of the things that I share with people is, one, take a deep breath before responding to people, whether they're asking of you to do something or bringing their baggage to you. Bringing their life situation to you, just take a deep breath before responding. If they're asking of you and you know that you're a giver, say, let me check. Make that the new language. Let me check my calendar. Because as you said, putting yourself on your calendar is really important. You should be all over your calendar before you let others overconsume it. And sometimes when you take that time to say, let me check my calendar, whatever it is that they feel they needed to bring to you kind of dissipates. It's already resolved to a degree, or it gives you that opportunity to determine if you really want to get tangled in it. But I guess in a sense we're first responders, because when they come, we immediately want to help. We immediately want to be that person for them. But you also have to watch your people, because there are some people who continue to bring you almost the same thing all the time, which means they may not be doing anything about their situation, and it's continually repeated. So do you want to have that in your life basket? But we talked about a couple of times this week, I've been hearing about the silence, taking on your calendar, putting in an hour or two of silence, because that helps you to decompress and to figure out your what's next for you. You have to be 100. If you're not 100, you could not possibly be the best for anyone else. But I do love this. And sleep is my best friend. I don't think I've ever let anyone interrupt my sleep. Sleep is my best friend, and I get it. So I heard something about sleeping. Is it pistachios? I think I heard someone say that pistachios help you sleep. They said 48 of them.
I never heard that before.
I never heard that. I think I heard it last night. And I love pistachios, but I don't eat them every night. But I'm just saying, find that something that allows you to relax. Sometimes you can't relax because you're thinking about other stuff. Your brain isn't relaxed. So find that thing that helps you to relax. And sleep isn't always it, but just relaxing.
Right. It's funny that you said that. I heard. I'm sorry. I heard everything you said. Hi. Someone else trying to talk? Okay. I heard everything you said, Ivane, but the one thing that stood out for me, you said the word silence, and that is absolutely 100% correct. When your brain is moving 99.9 miles an hour and your body's moving 99.9 miles an hour, and things are coming at you, somebody's talking, the TV's on, there's music on, there's traffic outside, your phone is ringing, you got 500 emails in your inbox, and you're trying to do all of this, it becomes overwhelming. Case in point, I went to residency last week, and it was an intensive situation the whole week. Study, class, every day. I got home almost close to midnight Friday night. 2 of the kids were up, and they were so excited. I couldn't deny them. They were so excited. They were jumping around. They were talking, and I was already on 10, so I couldn't relax. So by the time they finally went to sleep, it was about, about 2:30. I still couldn't relax. So by the time I finally got to sleep, it was about 4:30. Well, they were up at 7 o'clock. And I still had all that going on in my head, jet lag and everything else. And I stayed up all day Saturday. Angel is telling me, you need to go to sleep. I'm like, yeah, I need to go to sleep, but I couldn't. So to make a long story short, at about 8:30, I'm like, that's it. I got to go to sleep. I shut it down, sent the kids to bed, and I couldn't sleep. But I was quiet. No television, nothing, just quiet for about 2 hours. And that invigorated me. I got up and did some homework. So we can't deny the fact that we have to find a way to turn stuff off. Not just the radio and the television, but to turn off all that stuff that's going on in our heads. You know, so anyway, all right. Is there anybody else? Any of the brothers want to share their self-care routines?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, how are you? My name is Michael. You know, I agree with everyone said. Like, for me, the most important thing that I've learned that, you know, I'm number one.
Uh-huh.
So I have to take care of myself before I can take care of anybody. You know, I do help people out, but sometimes, you know, I try not to unless they really need it. Most people can help themselves, but they don't realize it. And I tell people, I say, you have to worry about you first, because if you weren't there, then it's nothing, because all that stress that they give you, it can really hurt you also. You're thinking about all the time what you can do. And I tell people, say, you got to worry about you first, you know, and that way you possibly can do some things. But I, you know, tell people, like, I try not to eat late at night because I realize that I love eating at night, and I realize that I sleep better, you know, when I don't eat at night, or wake up more refreshed. So I realized that over the year that you got to take care of yourself first, you know. You could try to help other people, but don't get overwhelmed, because they can overwhelm you, you know.
Yes.
So that's all I want to say, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. We appreciate your input.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else? While y'all are talking, I lost one of my cards. It was a card on mindfulness. But anyway, anybody else want to chime in before we move on? Okay. Well,
I'm gonna come in with a little bit. I'm gonna come in with a little bit of something.
Okay.
You were saying the other day, the little situation you went through past weekend. I kind of went through last night, and nothing really pressing. I didn't have anything exciting going on. I just had kind of fell asleep when I really didn't want to fall asleep, and then I had issue going to sleep when it was really time to go to sleep. So my brother was looking at me earlier today, and you look sleepy. I said, I am, because I'm really just, other than the little sleep I had when I was looking at TV and fell asleep in between shows waking up. So I'm really just working on 2 hours of sleep. But, during that 2 or 3 hours that I did really get, like I said, there was no TV, no distractions, and just kind of quiet in my mind. And sometimes you get 3 or 4 hours of sleep uninterrupted like that, and it'll do your world of good. It's not the most healthy thing, because I think a person probably needs 6 hours on the average of uninterrupted, noiseless sleep. You get a good night rest and wake up feeling refreshed the next morning. But I do believe in self-care. I take care of myself. But the only day that I really don't do much is on Saturday. I'm the bum. I might not even jump in the water or nothing. I'm just letting you know. That's that day. But every other day, kind of take care of myself. And some Saturdays I'm just I will brush my teeth. It's just one of those days where I'm just lounging, being a vegetable, and enjoying myself, and then come back to normal the next day. But self-care is important, doing little routine things, haircuts, on however you get them. For those that do manicure, pedicures, power to you. I've had that, but good topic, and just wanted to throw that in there about my little, I'm still listening to the podcast tonight, but I'm getting ready to go get in relaxed mode.
Sound like you're
okay.
Say again?
Yes, indeed.
Sound like you're already there.
Well, I'm close. I'm very close.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right.
I agree with everything that everyone has said. And for me, all of that is well. All of that is good. Those are things you should do. But I try to challenge myself to do something every day that I want to do, just to have fun, to relax, to release. And lately, it's been driving up to the country. Not doing anything, just drive up there and look at the trees. Get out, fire off a couple of rounds of the gun, get back in the truck. I'm good. I know that may sound strange or crazy to some people, but it works for me. Because on the way back in, my mind is clear. I have a set agenda. I know what it is I'm coming back to do, to get done, to get completed for that day. And I just believe that, at some point in time, you got to have fun throughout the day in order to stay sane.
Right.
To stay stressless. Because if you're always doing stuff and none of it is fun, to me, it becomes boring. It becomes boring. I'm aggravated. I don't want to do this. And in most cases, I won't. So, the biggest thing, like I tell anybody, is you got to learn to have fun with what you do. And a lot of people don't know how to have fun. Any built-up stress that I have left from tonight will be dispersed throughout this weekend. Because this weekend I got 4 days at the club. And just sitting there looking at folks.
We got 4 days at the club.
People watching.
Just sitting there looking. I say me because I can't speak for nobody else. But, you're right, just people watching. And every now and again, we have people that just can't get enough of the front desk, so they want to come back up and talk to security for whatever reason. But, it gets to be interesting at times, and that's relief for me because I have fun doing that. I have fun seeing other people have fun, seeing other people relieve the stress, let their hair down, have a few drinks. And that's my 2 cents.
That brought about a question, Ham.
Okay.
When the thing that you love doing becomes a burden, becomes stressful, brings about anxiety, what do you do then?
Well, I don't do things that become a burden, that become stressful, that I like.
Okay.
See, that's the thing in being grown, being an adult. I get to pick and choose what it is I want to do. And if I don't think I'm going to enjoy it or have fun, I'm not going to do it.
True. But see, we can't all be you. So is there anybody else on the line that wants to chime in on that aspect? Because I have a story, but I'm trying to hold it. Anybody?
Everybody can't be me. You should want to be me. You should want to be yourself.
True, very true.
That would relate to, as an example, if you enjoy going out and partying safely, but the only time you can do it, you have another obligation. So then you have to choose between the two. And if you can do what you enjoy doing because of the other obligation, which could be to someone else, because, again, we're caring for other people, then that could be stressful. Or if you, and I'm going to use going out and partying, because going out and partying is not negative. It's actually exercise that releases endorphins, for all of you who need to know. So that's the dancing thing, right? But if you're in a relationship and your partner feels that that thing that you enjoy doing interferes with quality time with them, then again, here you have a dilemma. Something you love to do, you enjoy doing, but someone you love feels that you should be not doing that thing as much. That could be stressful. And every Thursday night, when it's ladies only, you suffer with anxiety because you're at work feeling like, I really want to go and hang out with my girls, but you know that it's going to cause a little tiff at home. So that's where that can be stress and anxiety for something you love to do, but you may have someone that you love. And it could be a child. It could be a commitment for your child, or, that was just what I was thinking when you asked that question. Something like that.
That's a good example. Anybody else?
Yes. This is Michael Gannett. I just want to say, through my journey, I learned that when you don't eat at night, your body goes into a super healing mode, repairing things and stuff like that. It only can do that when you don't eat at night. So I started experimenting with it, and I noticed, my skin feels a little better, softer, my eyes a little brighter. I use bathroom really good that morning, and I pass it on to other people. I said, you just got to try it. You see the difference and feel the difference, especially when you get a good night's sleep. And I learned that when you eat late at night, you're turning on your liver, your kidney, your spleen, so your body can't repair and digest food at the same time. So the body has to go through the digestion problem, which takes a lot of your energy. And a lot of people wake up really tired, and I experienced that. I'm like, wow. So I pass it on to other people. I'm like, the best thing you can do for your body is it's like you're fasting at night. When you eat at night, you can't fast because your body's working. And that's why you're tired all the time. So, I tell people, just try it. And they realize the difference. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Well, I have a scenario, and I would appreciate feedback as to whether I was wrong or whether I was right. This situation still resonates with me and actually kind of bothers me to this day. I don't know if all of you guys know, but we help authors publish their books. And I love editing. So there was a couple of times when Angela couldn't do it, and I had promised somebody that I would do their book, FREE. Did you hear me say free? So I'm editing this book, and the deeper I get into it, the more it's weighing on me. I love editing. I love proofreading, all of that. And it's weighing on me, and it's weighing on me. And it did not seem like this person had any compassion about the situation. I said I would do it. They expected me to do it, and I understand that. But it got to the point where I dreaded doing the thing that I loved the most. And I am not proud of it. I am not proud of it at all. But I ghosted this person. For my own sanity, I ghosted this person. And it still bothers me because I feel like I didn't handle the situation correctly, but I didn't feel like I could talk to this person either. So what do you guys think about that?
So what about the project caused you not to want to do it? What? Because you said you would do it for free?
No. There were significant challenges in doing a deep edit on this book. This person was very well known, very eloquent, spoke, preached the whole 9 yards. But the way they wrote was lacking. I'll just say it was lacking. So what would have normally been, maybe a light edit and a proofread turned into a deep dive into this book to make it presentable to the clientele that he was trying to reach. And it took, there were weeks where I do 8 hours a day on this one book, and it just got to be too much.
That's so interesting. Are you familiar with J. California Cooper?
No, I've never heard the name before.
I picked up one of her books one day that my mother was reading, and it was serious Mississippi broken English. It hurt my head, and I couldn't understand how anybody could read. Of course, you just do what you have to do. I couldn't read that. I wasn't trying to read it. I just wanted to kind of see. It was all broken English. It broke me. But it's interesting that you're giving that as an example, because my fear in giving my book to professors was that they would critique and want to change the way I write, and I write the way I speak. And that's the way I want it to be delivered, right? So interesting that you say that, because that would be a challenge. And that it was almost like you, if I'm not mistaken, it's almost like you had to almost rewrite the book in a sense. Is that correct?
Yes.
Without rewriting it. Yeah.
Right.
I could see that. And if I may mention, please don't laugh, someone spoke to me a week and a half ago, and they said, don't get upset and don't take offense. He said, I was reading your book, and you write like a pimp.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I learned to be quiet. That's one of the things we must learn too, right? To be quiet. That silence. Because I knew he was intelligent, I said, continue. And he said, when I'm reading the way you're speaking, it's the same way a pimp speaks when recruiting. They speak on the level of the person, and they share the information in a most deliberate way that they want the person to understand and see value in what they're saying. I said, that's so nice. That was just so nice. But it was so ironic because that was like 11 o'clock Friday morning, and approximately 5 in the afternoon, I'm speaking to someone, and they said, I'm reading your book. You're almost like an angel. And I just chuckled. I said, I went from one end of the spectrum to the other. They both really meant the same thing. But it all depends on who you are and where you come from. And this guy used to be a pimp, so he knew what he was talking about. Yeah, it was a positive. It was manipulation, but in a positive way.
Right. Okay. Yes,
but
indeed.
That had to be challenging for you, though. That had to be challenging because you want it to be a successful project.
Yes, and there's a standard that I set to try to make sure that whatever rolls off of RDM, is of the highest standard. And trying to get to that standard was driving me insane. But anyway, anybody else as to whether or not I was wrong or right or? Okay, all right. Well, moving on. Let's see.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
I think, everybody experienced something like that. But I said, even though, you felt bad about it, and, I tell people, say, well, it's really a learning lesson for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would you have done to overcome that? When I think of it, I think, well, somebody said, oh, can you do it and it's for free? And I might say, okay, but I would tell them, well, I'm not sure about the time, so that might be the problem. If I have time to do it, but I'll try to do it.
Uh-huh.
And even, I would feel bad because, like you said, you ghost them, and I would just, you got to get over that and call them and apologize and,
yeah,
tell them that you didn't know it would take so much time.
Right.
And, you just felt guilty, You got to, call and say, I'm sorry, and see what happens after that.
Yeah, it's been a few years, but
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
It's a real simple question, but it's direct.
Uh-huh.
And it just requires a simple yes or no.
Oh, Lord.
Did you finish the book?
No, I ghosted them.
Well, under those circumstances, to answer the question, you were wrong.
Okay. I can take that. I can
just called the person and told them that this was a burden, it was stressful, and that you could no longer do this instead of just disappearing, as if you had been trained by Houdini.
Okay. Yes, you are correct, and I'm big enough to admit that. But it was. Angela can attest to it because she had to hear me complaining.
I was getting ready to speak. First of all, as her business partner, I told her not to do it in the beginning. Let's just put that out there. Second of all, as she started getting deeper and deeper into it, and I was in school, right?
Yes, I think
was
so.
I in school at that point? Yeah, I was in school, so I couldn't help, and I felt bad because I couldn't help. But as she was getting deeper and deeper into it, I'm like, you just need to let it go. Like, it's not that serious. Like, we don't. Our company is not has not been founded on anything other than faith and honesty and commitment to the author. And so when it got to that point where it was just, I can't do this anymore, we'll just let him know you couldn't do it. You can't do it. Now, what I didn't know until tonight is that she ghosted him because I didn't know that.
Oh, my.
Yeah, see, that's the non-communication from the business partner there with the slickness.
So
that's what
I
it
didn't
is.
know that because she just stopped talking about it. So I just figured because I know exactly who it is. And so
that's what happened. She stopped talking about it, but she ghosted the subject altogether.
Yeah, I didn't know that until tonight. And so for that, I will say you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're wrong, man. You're wrong.
Because at that point, my favorite part was dealing with the author. So you could have gave that to me. I could do that part.
Mm-hmm. Could have, but you didn't.
Because
you're wrong.
She's very timid. Believe it or not. So she doesn't, she don't like to cause confusion. She don't like to ruffle feathers and yada, yada, yada. And I'm not total opposite, but opposite enough to say this is just a difficult project and we won't be able to do that at this time. I do apologize for any inconveniences would have caused you, but please understand our circumstance. And at the end of the day, it was free. Again, which I didn't advise.
At all.
So in other words, I'm hearing that you were not receiving any gratuities for the stress.
Not a drop.
But you were spending money trying to relieve the stress that the book was causing to have.
Speak on it.
Yep.
Yeah, so you were the one going to the pharmacy and the pharmacy not coming to you. You were the one that was getting the headaches and the stressful nights and the screaming and hollering at the children all behind a book that you were doing for free.
Wow. Here comes the pimp preacher, y'all. The pimp preacher has entered the building.
A brother, pass collection plate. Nigga, get it on that side.
I just need to say this, and then I'm going to be quiet.
Straight on. Better preach, Pastor.
You was wrong, my sister.
Yeah.
There was no need to take that route.
Route taker.
But it is you who tell me about being the bigger person.
Bigger person, tell it.
Where was the bigger person then?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
See,
the big
you're
one.
the one who
take
tells
a mental
me,
health break.
But you're the one that tells me. See,
tell him.
I need to calm down. It's not that bad.
Bad it wasn't.
But here you ghosted a whole person with a whole project that you had.
Project Ghoster.
Oh, Lord.
See.
Now,
I have a question.
Did you really think you were going to make this? Did you really think you were going to make that statement and not get all of this coming into it?
No, I knew it was coming.
Which
okay.
You're wrong.
I just wanted to know.
In my defense, as they say, hindsight is 20/20. Looking back, I think I may have been upset that they had access to a whole team that could help them, other people that could help them, but they preferred to try to get something done free. So
They also say ignorance is bliss, but you're a very intelligent young lady. So you still ain't off the hook. You're wrong.
I know.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, if you were to call them back, you don't have to tell me exactly what you're going to say, but could you give us some pointers what you would say to them?
I would be as honest as I could be, because not only is this person a pastor, minister, they're actually family.
Okay,
but
that's
I would be as honest as I could be to say I had every intention of, helping you with your project, completing your project, to try to make it, have it be done in the spirit of excellence. And I would be very diplomatic about the fact that what was causing the stress was the way that he wrote.
Right.
So I would try to explain that without saying, without being negative about it, I guess I could say. And that would be a tall order, because that was the gist of it. Basically, he was getting a ghostwriter. I didn't sign up for ghostwriting, so maybe I could put it to him that way.
And also,
so instead, you just ghosted him. Period.
Thank you, Brother Andre, for.
It's interesting that you use that terminology.
You are very welcome, young lady. That's what happened. You're wrong.
Well, also you should ask them about their book. Was it published like you care? You know, I think you.
Well, now, okay. I did do. There were several books. I think I did two others. It's by the time I got to that third book, I couldn't take it no more.
Okay, well, you did something, so that's good.
Non-book taking.
So I think you can handle that call.
Yes, I can, and I will.
Okay. There's always lessons learned, so
yes,
learn from your mistakes.
For one, I'm not doing anything else free unless God tells me to.
You're learning that.
Yes. Oh, goodness. But anyway, back on the topic. One of the things that I looked up was why self-care isn't selfish. Now, for the most part, we pretty much covered that. But we still have to be mindful of everything. It's not one thing that can derail our mental health, but it's a combination of everything. So it's kind of like juggling a ball. You know, you throw one up and then you got to catch another one, and throw that one up and you catch another one. And you have to do that with your mental health. If you let all the balls drop at one time, then you may have a break and ghost somebody like I did. So you have to be mindful of all that. Self-care is not selfish. So a couple of other things that we have to do, and we've talked about this also, is listen to our body. If your body's telling you to sit down, sit down. If it's telling you to slow down, slow down. If it's telling you to take a day off, that's what you need to do. If it's, like I think Everett said, just kind of vegetating for the day or go out, window shop. Well, people might not window shop anymore, but, go out, sit at the park, people watch, go by your friend's house that you haven't seen for a couple of weeks. Just take the time to know and listen to your body. I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Oh, Lord. All right. And think about mindfulness. Find a way to weave that into your day. Now, the definition that I have for, anyway, that's wellness. But anyway, it's close. The definition for wellness is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes their own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. That's the definition of wellness, according to who? The World Health Organization. So,
I must be wellness.
Nice.
Oh my goodness!
It's not bad for a non-book-taking ball dropper.
Oh Jesus, Lord, I'm not gonna live this down. See, I'm trying to be authentic and transparent, and they just ride me for it, man.
Ghosts usually are transparent. You right on the money.
Ask Casper.
You betting 1,000 on that one, Queen. Keep doing you, young lady. Your non-book-taking ball dropper.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So weaving mindfulness into our day, we can, if you feel yourself getting stressed, think about your breathing. Focus on your breathing. Do conscious breathing. You can, and this says, scan your body. Don't say a word, Andre. Not one word. In terms of scanning your body, it's, maybe starting at your toes and just kind of relaxing your toes and letting it travel up your legs, and onto the rest of your body till it reaches your head. Now, one of the things that I like to do is activate my senses. If I'm out, I pay attention to my surroundings. And I know y'all are going to laugh at this, but I saw the most perfect tree today. And I actually said, Lord, thank you for that tree, because it was awesome. It was perfect. And it actually, believe it or not, made me feel good. I know that sounds crazy, but it did. Anyway.
Was it a big tree?
Well, we're going to have to limit your screen time, young lady. But I see what you're saying.
Well, that's interesting, because yesterday on Carol's podcast, that was her thing, hug a tree today, because it was Earth Day.
Oh, okay.
And she said, hug a tree. Oh, how many people hugged a tree today? I said, there's too many bugs on a tree for me to be hugging on trees.
Right, exactly.
But that was her concept.
It's always refreshing when a lady hugs wood.
Always.
I wasn't even thinking that way.
Always observe and savor what's around you.
Mm-hmm.
But now my question is, describe the tree that you say was the perfect tree.
Okay, it had it wasn't a fir or anything, but it had like a Christmas tree shape. It had a nice little point. It came down symmetrically. The bottom, it may have been trimmed. I don't know, but the bottom was perfect. It had a nice long. What? Anyway, it was like a.
Yep.
It was almost like a sapling, I guess. I don't know. Anyway.
I think that was great. That was great what you did, because you're in touch with nature. I tell people, look at the sky, look at the trees, look at the green. It just makes you feel
right.
good.
Right.
Look at water. If you're near water, it just changes your whole persona.
Mm-hmm. It holds perspective on life.
Listen to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Think about the air. The way the air feels. How does it make you feel good, or does it make you want to run inside and close the door? I don't know.
You see a bird, I'm like, oh wow, bird.
Right.
You look at them for a little while.
Y'all have to forgive me. Yes, indeed. Because we, whether you believe God made it or it's just nature, it is all beautiful and it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And when all else fails, ask for help. If you need to find a therapist, find a therapist. Go to your person. If they don't feel like they can give you or help you, the way that you need help, then find a therapist. There's no harm, no shame in that. But you have to be willing to allow the therapist to help you. Because, when I went to therapy, I was still Superwoman. And the woman felt like, I didn't need no help. So, consequently, I don't go to therapy anymore. But anyway, and seek authentic connections. Stay away, like we said before, stay away from toxic people. Spend your time with people that you trust, who listen to you, who care about you, and make you feel good about yourself. Nobody wants to have a friend that's always putting them down, or have a friend that's always talking about themselves. They come in your house, and from the time they get there, it's I, or my kids, or my job, or my money, or my boyfriend, or whatever, and there's never any time for you. That's not an authentic connection. Let's see.
Another one.
Another authentic one is usually, listen, young lady, usually when you got a business partner that asks you to help them. Write books.
When you have a what?
When you have a business partner that you can reach out to help proofread that project.
Okay.
Asking for help.
Asking for help.
And you know and again,
all the bullet points you just named that you followed none of.
Anyway, moving right along.
the biggest thing that I look at is about what you were saying is a lot of times we've been brought up to believe if you can't do it, then you are this, you're that, you're anything but what you want to be. So therefore, you need to make it happen. And asking for help is not one of those things that you commonly do because you have to figure out a way to make it happen.
Right.
And when you've been groomed like that for stuff like that, then sometimes asking for help is not an option.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in your mind, it may be showing a sign of weakness. And nobody wants to appear to be weak to anyone else because we all know there are sharks out there, and sharks prey on the weak.
Yeah, yeah. This is true. This is so true. That being said, one of my favorites is, and this is what I had to do in terms of that project, is practice self-compassion. Self-compassion involves being kind to ourselves when life goes awry or we notice something about ourselves we don't like, rather than constantly berating ourselves. So show yourself some love. Practice self-compassion. Has anybody ever thought of it in that regard?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I can be upset with something that I've done, and I'll talk to myself. I do a lot of self-talk, you didn't know you were doing the wrong thing. You didn't know it wouldn't work. Especially when I first started in the field that I worked in, I made mistakes, and I have to talk myself through it,
Right.
And this is what you should have done, and then I conclude with, okay, I can go back and do this to try to fix the issue, And there's not always going to be a way to fix the issue, but it makes me feel better that I tend, and that was part of my training, I've learned to, when I walk away from a situation, to reassess everything. How did I do? If I don't think I did well, I'll see what I can do to fix it. And I have gone to people and say, look, about what happened yesterday, can we talk about it? And and it's twofold. It's kind of selfish because it makes me feel better, and it also hopefully makes the other person feel better about the interaction that we had that may not have gone as well as it should have. So I've learned to do that.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
I had off, but one of the things I was thinking, if it hasn't been said, is that when you do have a partner in business, that is a person you should always be able to come and talk to.
Yeah. That's true.
Is to handle business accordingly. So it sounds like Angela would have been able to, in spite of her saying, don't do it, you should be doing it. Even if she said, I told you so, it should be over to her to end the agreement, if she's that person. And she would have been happy to do it if she told you not to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
For good reason, but when you have
probably text her by now telling her I told you so. But anyway.
Yeah. But yes,
actually, I did not. My partner and best friend has gotten enough that I will not do that again. After tonight, this will be a lesson learned for both of us. I will add that she knew the stress I was under in school. And she chose to take care of my stress instead of taking care of her own, which is a lesson learned for both of us. Because there are sometimes that, I'll be going through something, but I know she's dealing with something, so I won't bother her. And she has come to me, well, why you didn't tell me? And it's for the same reason. We take care of each other. We're best friends, but that's my sister. And I tell everybody that's the sister that God made for me. And so we do that. We take care of each other in that way. So that was probably a time when I was taking a class or stressed out or something was going on, because I don't remember exactly the time frame, that she was just like, I'm not even going to bother her with this. Like, I can't bother her with this because she's going through enough. So I will say that she does that, and we do that to each other to a fault. And this conversation tonight may lead us to think about, being there for the other person. But I was always like, come to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. And everybody's like, well, if we all talk to you, who do you talk to?
Right.
Back then, my simple response was God. I talk to him and y'all talk to me. And it didn't always work out that way. And so I talk to God, and I will always. But I have a counselor. I had a counseling session today. I do have a counselor. I have somebody that over the past few years I speak to. Now she says that we're not in therapy. I'm in maintenance therapy because I work through a lot of the issues, and now I understand and have the tools to take care of what I need to take care of, whatever stresses, anxieties, what have you. But that came over time.
Right.
And so I'm doing the best I can to push a person who shall not be named on this phone to attempt counseling again with a different mindset, and understanding that they can only help you as much as you allow them to. They only know as much as you give them. So you have to give it all, and here's all my stuff, now help me fix this. And when you go on with that type of attitude, you'll find yourself fixing it yourself just through conversation with the other person. It's not that they are doing it or fixing your life. They're just shining lights on certain things to help you fix things yourself. Right. And coming to a place that, right, and you don't have to, you don't need to go to them all the time, because then you can use the tools and the conversations and the past things that they told you to help yourself mentally. And of all the things that she said tonight, and I'm proud of her for speaking on it, and maybe this will help me get back to counseling again. But anyway, one thing that I suggest, and this truly helped me when somebody did it for me for the first time, is sometimes you call your friends and you say, how you doing? And they'll go, I'm good, I'm okay. But then you turn around and you ask them, how are you doing today mentally? That's a completely different question, and it'll make that person think, how am I? I'm feeling kind of down today. And to be able to express that to someone that you trust. So every now and then, with your close friends, just call them up and be like, how are you doing today mentally? And when the first person that did that to me, because I was always the I am good person. Oh, I'm good. That was my fallback. All hell could be breaking loose, but I'm good. And when they asked me that question, I told the truth. And from that point forward, when somebody asks me how I'm doing, if I'm not having a good day, I'm not having a good day. Because it allowed me the freedom to understand I can speak my mental health, because that's still part of my health. When you ask how somebody's doing, you ask them about their health. Not just their physical health, but it's their mental health as well. Mm-hmm. And so it is so important, just that little tidbit, my little 2 cents. But you will be surprised at the response you will get sometimes if you ask a person how they're doing today mentally. Okay, I'm done.
She asked me that on a day that I wasn't trying to think. And I was doing good till she asked me that. And after she asked me that, is when my day started going down because I got a headache. Tried to think about how was I doing mentally.
So shout out to all the stuff fixers.
Yes, indeed.
Myself and my best friend is like that, and I guess I trained her to be like that, for lack of a better way of putting it, because she calls me every morning on her way to work, and every morning it's like, how you doing today? Girl, it starts with that. I'm on my way to work, and I'm not in the mood for them kids today. She's a 6th grade teacher. I'm not in the mood for them today. I'm not in the mood for that principal today. And they just I know they're going to get on my nerves. And the principal, we supposed to meet, and he's supposed to observe me today, and she'll go, nah. And then I'll say, are you done? She goes, yeah, now I'm ready to face the class, And she does that, and as you were talking, I was like, I got Linda into that habit, and she just she just calls just to vent, And sometimes she had a bad day at school, and she'll call me, and I always start with the same question: how was your day, girl? And when she starts with girl, I want to say, okay, tell me something positive that happened today, and then she goes, Well, it was okay. I got a compliment from the vice principal today, and I had a observation in my class, and he gave me a nice compliment, and he was saying he likes the way I work. He likes the new things I bring into the classroom. But let me tell you about this parent. I was like, you had to get that out. But
yes,
I'm glad that I'm there for her to get it out of her system. I don't want her to go home in that I'm gonna kill somebody mode. Because she got 2 teenagers at home. They'll push that.
God.
And I'll get a call or watch Channel 7 News. Woman in Florida kills 2 children. Oh, Lord. I didn't have time to talk to her today. But,
oh, wow.
We got to be that ear sometimes for people. And sometimes it's just that venting they want. They just want to get it out of their system. And when she's done, she's, okay, I'm done.
In regard to what you said, Adrian, this came to mind for those of us who are, quote unquote, church to folk. Sometimes, even with those who are close to us, we may need to cover ourselves and seal ourselves because you don't want what they're dealing with piled on top of what you're dealing with.
Right.
No. One. Because I had, and here's another real quick story. I had a client, and this lady went off. I mean, she went off 6 ways from Sunday off. And I listened, and, I tried to calm her down. And it wasn't even anything about what we were doing, as her publisher. I guess she needed to vent that day. And, boy, she vented. And when we got off the phone, it was a couple of hours later, I found myself in the most foul mood. I mean, seriously foul. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, what was on her tried to get on you. So that's another part of self-care. Whether you believe in the power of God, go ahead, or anything like that, or whether, it's Allah or whoever, whatever you need to do to make sure you're okay despite being there for somebody else. And we've said this, off and on in different ways throughout the whole call, you have to do. Don't, deny those people in your circle, but just make sure you're
don't
good.
Take on their issues. Right. Yeah, I had to learn that early in my field. Don't take on their issues because they'll try to put it on you.
Right. Yes, they will.
I have a quick comment.
Sure.
You're talking about people getting help. Like I try to do that with people, but some people may feel offended by it. But how I approach them about it, I says, well, you should go see some kind of counselor. I'm like, I have, and they really helped me a lot. I go on and on And they realize, okay, let me try it. And also, we need to stop, realize that when you're beating on yourself, you don't realize, oh, I was terrible, I did this, I should have did that. You got to recognize that too. Sometimes I'll catch myself, so, okay, let me calm down. What could I have done differently? We have to, that's how you can really help yourself.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now, getting back real quick, because I think this is important, and I know we're about out of time, but in terms of coping with stress and anxiety, one of the things that jumped out at me was identify and challenge your negative and unhelpful thoughts. Sometimes we let those little foxes just creep in, and we just kind of brush them off and keep it moving. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you still should acknowledge that and say, okay, how can I fix this? Why did I think that? What is causing those negative thoughts to come? But anyway, that's just something I thought was important to say. So it is 9:56, and I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. Thank you for coming on the line tonight. And if you need any of this information, any of the research that I did, hit me up, and I'll be glad to send it to you. So I'm going to kick it back over to the chairman or Mr. Everett.
Well, again, I have 9:57, and I would like to say that this has been a most interesting evening.
It has.
Listening to all of the banter that has taken place over the last hour and almost a half. And I will give everyone an opportunity for any closing remarks at this time.
It's a great subject.
Okay, go ahead.
We both said the same thing at the same time.
Okay. Well,
thank you all.
And with that being said, Everett, you have any closing remarks?
He off relaxing somewhere.
Oh, I guess he's doing his mental. All right. Then I guess it puts it back on me. And again, this has been interesting. It's been fun. I do appreciate the fact that we do this on Wednesdays. And there are other shows that are on this line, not just ours on Wednesday night. And I would ask that we all do a better job of listening in on other shows when they're coming on, because everybody on this line gives us support, and we need to turn about fair play and do the same with them, especially if it's at all possible.
Especially on Fridays.
That depends on what time on Fridays.
6 o'clock.
Go ahead.
So that's why I was going to say also to just go, we're on different time zones. I understand we're not available, but I would also recommend that you go to the Grown Folk Talking YouTube and kind of catch based on the subject. And they also have a website now, Grown Folk Talking, expressyourself.com, I believe. I did a great show on technology yesterday, and so I'm still waiting to get some information on your organization, if you could. Thank you.
Oh, I thought that was sent to you.
It's coming. and let me say this. This topic is very interesting. Thank you. I know. I got you. I got you. It's coming. I feel it coming through the waves. But my book, Mind is to Mental as Teeth Are to Dental, and We All Have a Mind. It is all about mental health. but the mind being part and inclusive of mental health. And our state of mind is very important. And I recommend to people to get a therapist when you're at your best, so that that person knows you at your best. That's before you even need them. They become your friend. Just in case life throws you balls, you have someone to help you get back to home base who knows you. Not an ER resident. Someone who literally knows you. So it's all very important. Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else?
The show's still being recorded. You can say your information. That way when it's posted on YouTube, people can go back to it and get your information.
You mean for the book?
Don't forget to stop the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all good. If I can, networkingforsuccess.info, you can find the book there. They're very good books, though. Thank you.
Brother Hamp? Mic check. Everett Hamp?